Good day, ladies and gentlemen in the Ninja Nation. This is Peter Parnaig, your host for the Ninja Weekly Action Tips. And this is also the week of November 4th, and it is week 2 of our November Business Planning Series. Last week you completed your life list, or at least you're working on it, which is the true foundation and the motivation for not only your real estate business, but more importantly, your entire life. Hopefully, your list is in progress and it's starting to excite and inspire you. If it isn't starting to excite and inspire you, then put some more energy into finding some inspiration. There are a ton of videos on YouTube and books on finding your purpose, your excitement. Remember, your rocket fuel. We particularly like Name Your Passion by Paul Korus. The best way to get clear on anything, as we know, is to measure it or quantify it. So let's fund your life list this week. The best way to do this is to do it together. And if you're ready, let's prepare to fund your life right now. If now isn't a great time, when you have 7-8 minutes, put on the video and we'll do it then together. First, download a blank annual financial goal sheet. It's right on page 24 in your installation manual. You did it then, but let's do a new one right now. And I'm going to walk you through the steps. As you know, at the top it says, decide what you want, not what you think you can have. So there's a balance here. This is aspirational, and there are certain places we're going to use your existing numbers. So don't let the how get in the way of the why. In other words, let's go for the numbers that would really make you happy. At the end of this, when you get to the final number, hopefully you'll go, oh my gosh, this would be a fantastic year. And we're working on 2020 right now. First line says mine to keep. This is different from your savings account or your retirement account. This is almost like mad money. It's in your wallet. Anytime you just want to spend some, you don't have to think about it or worry about it. Where it really comes from is Tammy Spalding, one of our top producers for the last 25 years here in Fort Collins. She said, if I have this amount of money set aside, like in my shoe almost, I'm not tempted to take a bad listing. In other words, an overpriced listing that's too short and they're putting a lot of demands on you, because sometimes we take those from a mindset of scarcity. And this helps her be able to say, you know, I don't think I'm the right person for you. If you have no idea how much it is, we like the range of $5,000, maybe up to $25,000 or $30,000. This isn't your retirement account, it's just your feel-good account. Second line is your creature comforts. This is really what it takes to operate your household each month. It's your house payment, if you have one, your property taxes, your insurance, your health insurance, your life insurance, your gasoline, your car payment, your utilities, your groceries, all the things that every month have to be paid. Another way to put it is just your nut. Now, most people think of this monthly, but then you're going to have to translate it to annual. So our range is typically $4,000 to $30,000 a month. If you're anywhere in there or more, no worries. Just annualize it and put it here under annual living expenses. The third line is called creature comforts or large purchases. Here's the idea of this one. Let's imagine for years you've been thinking, gosh, we really need a new roof on our house, or I'd love to re-pour the driveway that's spalling, or, you know, I'd really love a new dining room set, or I'd really like to remodel our kitchen. This is the one where you plan next year to get that done. Instead of saying year after year, I can't afford it, we're going to plan for it and make the money so you can get it done. If it's much more than $50,000, we recommend chunking it into two halves. Now, if you're going to make an extra $100,000 this year, absolutely, I am not the dream vampire, but give yourself permission to break it into two if the number's fairly big. Business costs, if you're new in the business, we think the baseline overhead is about $3,000 a year. That includes your NAR dues, your MLS dues, any fees that you have to pay just to be in the business. Once you start growing your business, you add all your marketing costs. If you have an assistant, this is where you would put that. Now, recreation, let's fund the cool things on your life list. We have a simple rule of thumb. Generally, for 2 people to go abroad, we just use a round number of $1,000 a day, which includes food, shopping, airfare, etc. So if you want to go on a 9-day trip, we suggest that you put aside about $9,000. It's just an easy rule of thumb, and it makes for an abundant trip where you aren't worrying about every penny that you have to spend. Personal growth, Let's say that you have an interest in maybe going to a Tony Robbins seminar, a Date with Destiny, or maybe you and your partner want to go to a marriage retreat, or you want to go to a T. Harv Eker Secrets of the Millionaire seminar. And every year it comes along and you go, well, we can't afford it. So you just kind of blow it off. Let's plan for it. If you have no idea how much money, just put $2,500 here. So it's in the budget. Family growth. That would be, for example, if you have children and they need braces, or they want to play on a travel sports team, or they're really talented and you want to give them special private lessons for dance or music. That's what might go in here. Some people use this to pay for college. Business growth, please write down $4,800. We did it in the installation, and the idea here is that every year you want to have $2 per name on your database that you invest each month in auto flow. In other words, the stuff that happens when you're not doing live flow. As you know, the baseline in Ninja is 200 people on your database, which if you use our formula that one name is equal to $1,000, that should be about a $200,000 income if you do all the flow activities. So just put $4,800 there so that you can plan for staying in auto flow twice a month on paper, real mail, with all the people on your database. Debt reduction. If you have any credit card debt, let's get that all paid off right now. And I don't care if it's $20,000, $40,000, $80,000. Credit card debt is just punitive because the interest rates are high and it makes you feel bad. So let's get that paid off. If you don't have any credit card debt, any other unsecured debt, if you have any college loans left, pay those off. And after that, it's kind of optional. Car debt and real estate debt, that may not be the best thing for you to pay it off. It may be better for you to invest in more real estate. But that's where that goes. Now, I'm going to plug together retirement funds and investments. We're not certified financial planners, but we do have a recommendation. Plan for when you get to be 65. If you're already 65 and you aren't there, adjust the time frame. But here's the basic baseline. If you got to be if you arrived at your 65th birthday and you had 5 free and clear rental properties, we're talking single family for the most part, that were bringing in each $1,500 a month, and you had Social Security of $2,200, $2,500 a month, so you had $10,000 in passive income, would that be a good start to your retirement? And you had $250,000 in cash in your retirement funds. We use that as our baseline. So here's the idea. If you own no rental properties now, let's plan to buy one every 2 years for the next 10 years. That will be 5. Put them on 15-year amortizations and keep them until they're free and clear. What that means is, using just a rule of thumb that you might, in most areas in the country, be able to buy a pretty nice rental house for $250,000. You're going to save 10% of that each year, so that every other year you will have accumulated 20%. So under investments, write $25,000. That means every 2 years you'll have 50, 20% down, buy another rental property for the next 10 years, and then keep until they're paid off. And now we're accomplishing our goal of 5 free and clear rental properties when you're 65, and the retirement funds, you have to take your age, how much you have, how much you want to get to $250,000 on your 65th birthday. For some of you, this would be fantastic. For others, this may not be enough, but adjust accordingly. And finally, add them all up and get a subtotal. Once you have your subtotal, write on the next line to give. This is where any philanthropic passions that you might have, your church or other causes, write them down if you have an intention to do so, how much you plan to give each year. Then for taxes, and this is a rough number. If you're making less than about $500,000, this works. Take your subtotal number and multiply it times 25%, or divide it by 4, or multiply it by 0.25. All three of those are the same. And write that number there for taxes. Now, some of you are going, well, it's too low. Generally, if you're making less than $500,000, your total tax bill is about 25% of your gross income. And remember, it doesn't have to be exact. Now add up your subtotal to give and taxes, and you'll have your receiving goal. Why do we say receiving goal? Finish this sentence for me. Ask and ye shall receive. So this is the first step now Well, it's the second step. This is the second step. We've got our life list done, and now we're going to figure out how to fund it. Now we're going to design a business plan to accomplish these financial goals. Now, my last question. At the end of this, if you were to make your receiving goal this year, would you be happy? Would you go, this would be a fantastic year? If not, maybe that number's too low. We can still increase it. But hopefully if you've done this right, this will inspire you and be clear. We'll see you next Monday for the step 3. Have a great week.